The jug, the bronze jug, the cast jug, the jug that holds its secret to itself, the jug that has within its center a sounding fork or vibration part. One can hold the jug against the face and ear, and with one finger strum that little piece of leak metal that carries its special tone and story. This little jug may have the full story. What we know is that one Spanish Basque workman with the Bureau of Land Management in the Owyhee Mountains near Silver City found it with much verdigris in, quote, the bottom of a post hole. He was working on a crew building drift fences on the range. We do not know whether it was Idaho or Oregon. The Owyhees carry the line between states. Just where on that line or area this find was made remains a secret. The person, the finder, who took it to Helen Reby to sell, was indefinite about just where he made the dig. There is some magic in the flea market approach to specific merchandise that prevents the buyer from being too circumspect. In this case, there was the promise, though uncertain, to be able to see or purchase other items with a Spanish flavor. It is known that searching parties from Mexico were in the country looking for the storied location of Pizarro's gold cache. Even that story has a haunting ring to it. Who is to draw from whispered stories in bars and encampments or on the trail and write to say, nay say, to any figment? There is a suspicion that the Mormons in Utah may have found such a treasure. It is like the stories of Sasquatch or Bigfoot that have been handed down. Narrators who look across a bar or campfire have enough credence that it does not behoove the recipient of such tales not to remember well. Gold is where one finds it, and history that is written or unwritten may still carry truth through the eyes or memories of the stranger who rode in from the west or the north with his half-starved tale. Thirst or hunger can loose tongues. Who is to judge what motivated the teller? This little bunch of poured bronze is a sphinx-like item. It has a definite character. There is a shadow of personality, as though whoever cast it wanted to carry home a special message. When it was buried, as perhaps an urn of ash remained, there was little thought that it would one day rest in the palms of the narrator. There is, to the common observer, little of a clue as to what the metallic mixture contains. To my knowledge, there has never been an assay made of what the metal carries. Bronze is in what its crosses between copper and other metals not discernible to the uninitiated eye. Reby was a special customer of mine in Boise, Idaho, where I lived when this item came to my attention. There was something haunting between its apparent nature and the half-story of its source. This certain Basque was from a family not blessed with old sheep money. In most societies, there are people in the inn and people who, because their mother could not prove fatherhood, were left to live under whatever name comes to be accepted. This is not to degrade in any way the seller of this little item. Because of its inherent background, it was not easy to command the source of his story. There was no ancestor to be protected. I made several attempts to draw a better story after purchasing the jug from this individual. He was, as his family well, an occasional customer of my auction business. I would have paid for a better story. I've forgotten. I think it was $20 I paid for this then green with verdigris item. I was always motivated with the desire for a long profit. With an acceptable but challenging story, I might have doubled my money quickly. The quicker a bargain pays off, the better the profit fits in the pocket. What really happened is that I became taken with the aura of the jug. Inanimate things can become gods to the believer. To hold this piece of metal in your hand imparts a special feeling. To heft, to hold, to dream is like a miser with his gold. It seeps into the very pores of his being, and so I lost the desire to sell this piece. I was starting an auction school about this time. I had taken my auction training at Reppert's Auction School at Decatur, Indiana. When the class of initiates assembled the first morning, each in turn was handed the hoe. At Reppert's, the hoe was the tool of initiation. I had sold the hoe many times. Here for my special school was an item not to be duplicated anywhere. The ingenue was handed the jug. He made one quick evaluation as to what anyone might want to own it, and proceeded his best auction chant. This initiation can turn a strong farm boy into a hunk of putty. Not all first sellers failed, but should they be overconfident, there were catcalls from the assembly to bring them down to equality. The one different item at the Intermountain Auction Institute was the jug. No auctioneer went through the course that did not at first sell the jug. That school operated and produced, and with a small number of good excuses, failed or closed, but the jug has stood the mantle over the years. Some of the boys are gone to their rewards. Auctioneers have a special dispensation, but those who started with this jug are better remembered. Now, son, you are heir to much that your father was and is. It is with a special dispensation that I painfully part with this treasure.